legacy in the room, yeah, we set the tone. Real conversations, it's more than a show. Strategy, power, how wealth really grow. If you're building something big, you already know. Welcome to the Legacy Lounge, where decisions get made. We don't talk it, we build it, and we pass it down for generations. Legacy. Legacy.
All right. Welcome to the Legacy. We done stepped it up a notch, y'all. We got us intro. Y'all let us know how y'all like it.
We got a theme song. Hey, okay.
Video coming in, okay. But yes, welcome y'all. This is our first episode of the year, and we are excited to be bringing y'all even, going deeper than what we talked on last year, so that y'all can really implement this stuff and have a better 2026 than y'all had in 2025. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm Sonya B. I'm one of the hosts, and I have my lovely co-host with me this evening. Tell them who y'all is.
Yes, I'm Miss Valencia Shamika, aka Miss V, aka the Legacy Pusher. If you got a goal in mind, I'm gonna push you to get to where you're trying to go.
Okay, and last and not the least, I hope. I am Dee Boutte. I am going to be your business, your tax, your bookkeeping expert. We're going to try to get some of that legacy to be generational, like we keep talking about, and historical as we want to. So if you have something that you're trying to create and it's not working out, talk to one of us. I'm sure we can help you.
Absolutely.
Yes, we can. So tonight, our title is Pressure Money, Why Smart Owners Make Bad Decisions Under Stress. Okay. We're not going to judge people based off of bad decisions, because we all make bad decisions, but we're going to try to give y'all some tools and some advice to help, not make more bad decisions, because the more bad decisions you make, you're just digging yourself in a hole. So
right.
That's what we're about tonight.
Yeah, a lot of times the issue isn't really that a business owner doesn't know better. That's not necessarily the issue all the time. Sometimes it's that stress makes better harder to access sometimes. So this is a no judgment zone for sure. It's about understanding the patterns, and let's move forward to some new patterns to do better.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that when we are under pressure, when we're under stress, we make decisions that are quick, that are easy, right? It's hard to make difficult decisions when you're, when things are, overwhelming you, because you just want to release all that problem. And you want to release from the issue that you have, right? It's hard to go through something when you're stressed out, and then you have to make a difficult decision at the same time. You just want the path of least resistance. So I think that's why planning is one of the things that, that we need to do better at in our community. We need to talk about, things in the future that we can do, plan a little bit better, and do some of the things that can help lessen the impact that our bad decisions cost us.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Most definitely.
Absolutely.
So pressure money, like I said, we call it pressure money because we make these decisions not just in business. Life usually is not the business that's causing us to make bad business decisions. Right. It's the pressure from life. So it's all connected. So you got to have your life in order.
Life be life.
Can run.
And life is not going to stop because you decided you wanted to run a business. Unfortunately, that's when it's going to show. Life is going to show up full force to really test how bad you want this thing, because it's not easy at all. But under stress, people really have stopped asking the question, is this aligned? So you find yourself saying yes to a bunch of stuff that's not aligned to your initial goal that you had in mind when you started planning out your business, at least planning in your head.
Right. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm trying to keep up with these comments.
Yes,
folks.
hello, ladies.
Hey,
I
y'all.
can't comment back right now, but I think Sandra got us on the commenting back. But hello, we see them.
Yeah,
We
Yeah.
see
thank you
you
for commenting.
commenting.
And y'all drop where y'all from. If y'all local, don't put North Carolina all in this chat. If you're from
Right.
somewhere else, welcome. And we appreciate y'all too. Make sure y'all share this live because somebody
Yeah.
else needs to hear this. And if y'all have
Right.
questions, post them in the chat. We'll answer them. If you have comments, we'll share those as well.
Yeah. This is not
So-
just a one and done from us. If y'all have things you have experienced that can help somebody else, drop it in the chat. That's what it's all about, community.
Right. Well, if you want to get up here and talk about it, we'll send you the link to get on and give you a little 2-3 minutes of shine.
Yeah, look, because I tell people sometimes at the end of the week, I get tired of listening to my own voice. Okay, I get tired of talking. I want to hear somebody else's view. Okay, I talk too much.
Gotcha.
So sometimes I want to hear somebody else's opinions and thoughts, right? So that I think that's one of the things that we don't talk enough in our community. We don't talk enough about the bad decisions that we make and how we can recover from them. So in 2026, I know a lot of people are like, mind your business, stay on your own paper and all that kind of stuff, but I think that the village support is kind of what we walked away from. And, when we were young, or at least when I was younger, I'm 55 years old. I'll be 56 next week. Hallelujah. Thank you, Jesus. One of the things that I remember when I was younger, our community was responsible for what you did and said, right? If I was outside somewhere acting up and doing something wrong, anybody who saw me, I was accountable to, right? Somebody was going to speak on what I did. And the same thing, if you made mistakes in school or they heard about you doing something wrong, it wasn't just my parents I had to be worried about. I had to be worried about the people up and down the street every time they saw me.
Right.
Oh, I heard what you did in school today. That was great. Or I heard about what so-and-so did, and I don't think you should have did that. So you understood that it wasn't just your parents or your family that you were responsible to. You were responsible to your community. And I think that we have lost that in our Black community. We feel like, well, it's none of my business. You do what you do and I'll mind my own business. And I think that if we had a little bit more community support when it came to some of the bad decisions, then we could look to somebody who maybe has more information or education or experience to help us get out of those situations. We wouldn't be so embarrassed about what we're going through because we knew we could go walk over the street, cross the street and say to Miss Ann or Miss Stacy or whoever, what's some old people name? Give me some old people name. Miss
Maddie.
Okay, Maddie. Look, Miss Tangi, can you come over here and I got a question. If I do this, am I going to get in trouble? You had the wealth and knowledge and wisdom of people that were older than you that made mistakes, so you didn't have to just feel like you didn't have a place to turn. And I feel so bad for these young people these days because they don't have a community like we did. Okay, they don't have a whole bunch of people that are going to look out for them. And when they make bad decisions, even if it's financial, there's nobody to say to them, well, I wouldn't have did that. You could have came over here and I would have let you work for a week and I would have gave you the money instead of you going out there and doing something that would have been detrimental to your finances.
Yeah.
So
I
wish we would do more community, financial education or support. I wish we would talk more amongst one another instead of feeling like, oh, well, I don't want so-and-so to tell me what to do. A lot of times people don't realize we're not telling you what to do. We're trying to give you guidance and influence.
Right.
Absolutely. Well, that's why we're here. That's why we're here now.
Community. I will say, I feel like there are plenty of resources though. There's a lot of free resources in the community. I feel like people just don't take advantage. People don't want to be transparent. Nobody wants to say, hey, I'm a struggling business owner and I need help. Everybody's trying to keep up with a certain image and they're forgetting the reality. And the reality is we all need each other because if we're not successful as a community, then how are we really measuring success? It's about legacy. It's about building. It's about how you leave your family behind in many areas. So before we try to fix things, you can prevent certain things from happening. But I know right now we're probably all in that stage of needing to recoup and repair some things. So we're going to give you some ways to do that tonight in different areas of your
Amen.
business and life.
Absolutely.
Amen.
Yep.
And think about it. Why are we not like that? Right? What is it? What has changed that we no longer feel safe sharing our situations? What's changed? Prankheads? Okay, so I see something from Chambray Scott. She says procrastination was her failure in business, and then she realized she couldn't grow and be successful, delaying or feeling like she could do things later. In taxes, you can't do things later like due diligence. Holding yourself accountable goes a long way.
100%.
I agree.
100%.
That's so amazing that you can be that transparent. There are sometimes when we do wait, those decisions are made for us because we didn't try to resolve the issue when we could have, right? And again, that's making bad decisions. It's like, okay, well, I know my car is going to get repoed, but I'm going to do everything I can. I'm going to hide the car. I'm going to do everything I can, but try to resolve the issue. You know what I mean? So I think sometimes we make bad financial decisions and we don't know how to get out of our own way or to try to find some of those resources to try to assist us. And I think sometimes we buy things that we don't necessarily need because we're trying to put on for somebody else, right? We're trying to elevate. We're trying to show somebody we got it. You know, we're trying to put on airs for people. And I wish we had more self-esteem as individuals so that we didn't feel the need to do that. You know, if we let it be okay that you wore the clothes from last year, this year, maybe we would need to go broke to buy clothes every year, you know, when it comes down to school clothes. You know, if you can still wear the same pants from last year, what's the problem with that?
Old pants, new shirt work just fine. I keep all my clothes. I thrift shop, all of that. Go ahead, Shaka.
Yeah. No, so Didi touched on it. Like that was one of the points I had, like overcorrect spending where you're in this panic mode. So you're buying things that you don't need. You're panic investing. You're buying tools or courses or coaches. You see an ad and you're clicking on it too fast. You're not asking yourself, is it aligned to the goals that I set for my business? So you gotta slow down so you're not under so much pressure to spend money. And I've seen times where I've coached other people, and even before I started coaching people, I was buying a course to learn something that I felt like somebody else, they did a really good job of saying, hey, here's the problem that we're solving. Here's the solution. And not realizing I already had that information. That really wasn't what I needed. And I was just spending money on courses when every time I would take the course, I already know this information. I need to go deeper. So I need to be paying for something that goes deeper, or I need to be implementing the information I've already paid for in the past.
Right. Amen.
And we got to, like you said, trying to do what everybody else do. Me in the business I'm in, I've been in this industry for 10 years, but it wasn't until about halfway through it that I realized, okay, I got to do what works for Sandra. You know, I don't spend X amount of thousands of dollars on this. That works for you. I don't want to do that. So I'm going to find a different way. And then, like you said, a lot of times we're wasting, even on free resources. Time, to me, is more valuable than money because you can't get it back. So when I spend time on trainings, because they pushed it out there as if it was exactly what I needed. That's that emotional decision making right there. Mm-hmm. They connected with you emotionally, but you did not think logically about where you really are and what you really need. Now you done signed up for 3-4 courses, and now they're trying to, in order for you to really get the meat, you know, because they gonna give you a little appetizer, and then you're stuck. Now you got to pay $599 for the course. It's like,
yes.
You know, so I get why people are skeptical about trying to leverage resources, because sometimes it seems to be misleading. Mm-hmm. But you have to know where 100%. You are so that you know what you need.
Yeah, but I do also like, to Chambray's point, you cannot put things off. And I've been guilty of it, still guilty of it, unfortunately, in some situations from a business and personal standpoint. But you Avoidance is another thing. It's like another pattern people have when they feel pressured to make financial decisions. And it's you're avoiding things like your numbers. You need to have some type of weekly check-in or something on your numbers. Like, I think that's one of the things me and Didi talked about in one of our one-on-ones, like posting up something, not just for me, but just for people in the community in general, to say, hey, here's the calendar in which you need to kind of play by play go by, so that you know this time of the year, this is what I need to be looking at. This time of the month, this is what I need to be looking at. This time every week or bi-weekly or however frequently it is, depending on, you know, the particulars of that financial aspect of your business we're talking about, you need to have that calendar set up so that it's recurring. And then she talked about procrastination also. One of the biggest things to get out of procrastination, it doesn't stop procrastination itself, but it helps make it non-existent, is having systems in place. So getting with somebody who can help you put those systems in place that do the things on an automated standpoint that you need to do.
Right.
Amen. Amen.
Yeah.
I mean, she's preaching right there. Go ahead, girl. Go ahead. Pass the plate around. Somebody pass the plate around. Okay.
Pass the cash app.
Okay. Look,
Yes, that's very true, because like procrastinating costs you so much more in the long run. And if you don't have stuff together, you're going to burn yourself out. And what you don't want to do, and as any business owner, is burn yourself out before you actually, you know, profit it. And a lot of people are burning out, and businesses are starting and they're stopping because they did not prepare to run the business properly. And so that's why we have people like Shamika, that's a leadership and business mentor. We have people like Didi that's going to teach you about how to, you know, do your taxes and keep your finances in order. And you have people like me to help you secure and grow that stuff so that you can keep that money while you're here and set it up to leave it behind for somebody after you're gone. I don't want my business to die when I die. You know what I'm saying? But I can't leave no broke business behind to nobody. Nobody ain't gonna want it.
Right.
So we have
and
to
I
think
love
about
that.
what it look like after. Because if we
that's
don't,
that's one of the things I shared with the client today. You know, she had opened up several LLCs, and you know, I really had to break the news to her and tell her. I said, you know, you're trying to retire and leave the business to your child, and you can't transfer an LLC. I mean, you can't. If something were to happen to her today, you know, the LLC dies with her. It's not inheritable. Literally, single member LLC it's a disregarded business entity. It's not something you can leave to somebody else. So when that person passes away, that business passes away. And so, you know, one of the things that I said to them, even with business entities, we have to create the right business entity type that we can share and leave to somebody else. You know, that's why corporations are so important. That's why having, you know, a corporate suite or even a partnership or some kind of S corp or shareholder is so that somebody else can be in charge if something were to happen to you. And so even when we're trying to create wealth, we're not always creating it in a form and a fashion that we can give it to somebody else when we leave. So even the ones that are out there making the good money, if they're not setting it up correctly, are not going to be able to leave money to somebody else. I think that's one of the things that I love so much about what Kandi Burruss did when she got married. Her prenup, she was more worried about her kids than another grown person. And everybody's like, that's your husband. You should want him to be taken care of. And she's sitting here thinking the same way I'm thinking. You a grown ass man. Okay. These are children. Okay. I'm taking care of the kids. You can go out and get your ass a job and take care of yourself. I'm gonna make sure that the younger ones are taken care of. They have a home. They have a place to live. They're financially taken care of for the next generation. You are just like me. Get your ass up and go to work and get you some coins, and don't worry about what happens between you and I. If something happens to me, my kids are going to be good. And if you're the person taking care of them, then somebody will be provided for as a caregiver for those children. But you're a grown-ass man. Why am I taking care of you? And so the mindset, I think, of so many people are like, oh, my God, if the wife, da-da-da. To me, it's the same thing with women. It's like, we sometimes forget that we're capable to get up and go out and make our own money and make our own financial decisions. So why is it we always looking for somebody to take care of us? So to me, it's like, embrace, your intelligence, your energy, all the things. Go out there and be successful. Go make good decisions. Stop making decisions that always keep you needing somebody else to pick you up and fix you, right? If you've done something wrong in your past, figure it out. Don't do it again. To me, it's just as simple as that.
And everybody don't have it. But what is
common sense not common?
Common sense ain't that common, honey.
I had to say that the other day, but that's why people like you, Sandra, are important, because you help people when it comes to financing, whether short-term or long-term, financing with a plan, not financing based off of your feelings. You know what I'm saying? I get how you may feel about somebody right now and all that kind of stuff, but finance for a realistic long-term plan. You can absolutely do a prenup that covers a spouse, especially when things are good. Right. Doesn't mean you got to leave him better than you leave your kids or what have you, but you can make a prenup that covers all the situations. You can put business paperwork in play that covers all these situations. What do I want to have happen? You know what I'm saying? When I'm gone, or not even when you're gone, you may not be dead, you may be incapacitated to some degree. Have that stuff laid out so somebody knows what your intent is. And we've talked about it before. Everybody doesn't want to take over your business. Your kids may not want to take over your business. So you could be doing a lot of stuff for nothing. So make sure you have that understanding of what you want to do and that you're working with the right people to make the plans to lay that out.
And that definitely starts with the first step of having a business plan before y'all opening up these businesses, okay? Y'all done went from, pressing shirts and now I'm an LLC. But did you properly set things up? And then, like she said, a lot of people are in business and they don't have anybody to leave it to. And they hadn't thought that far. If you don't have family to leave it to, I'm in that position now. I mean, my mom is older than me. I can't plan to realistically leave the business to her unless I die soon. But my kids, I don't know if they want to do this. So far, they're not interested in what I do. So I need to build a big enough business so I can sell it to somebody else. It has to be worth something. Now, if somebody buys my business because I'm set up right, then that money will go to my family if I'm gone. But some of those that you can use to help protect your businesses and make sure stuff stays in the family or stays where you want it to stay is by using things like trust, getting with an attorney that does estate planning, your will. There's a lot of things that go behind your business and we overlook and we skip it. And then when we need those things to be in place, you can't just put it in place and it's active,
It's too late. Yep.
Yeah.
What were you saying earlier, Sandra? You were about to say something else?
I probably forgot.
You probably were about to ask a question.
I probably was.
Something like that.
I probably already touched on it and it went away.
No, it's okay. But I'd say overall, just remember, we're talking, if you're just jumping in, we're talking about why smart owners, business owners make bad decisions under stress. And I've seen people do it for, they'll start discounting their services out of fear. Like, don't do that. Don't do that.
Well, I get it. What are some specific things that business owners, more specific, like you just mentioned, discounting your prices?
I've seen people do it all the time. It's already common that when you start out, you don't price yourself accordingly a lot of times because you feel like, it's so many other people doing it. And I want to be able to compete with them, so I'm going to price lower than them. That's not necessarily the best strategy. And it always is a case-by-case scenario, but 9 times out of 10, that is just not the best strategy. Or you got a slow day where you don't have any income coming in, or you get a surprise bill that pops up. And so you start running these sales and discounting your services. And then you get into what you talked about earlier. You get into this burnout mode because now you're overcommitted and you're not even getting paid what you're worth.
Right.
Been there, done that, and 2026 exit. Doesn't mean love lost. Doesn't mean I don't want your business. It means for me to maintain my business, I've got to maintain my sanity and my pricing.
I know that's
Go ahead, sis. Go ahead. Tell them. Get them right. Get them
You
right.
can't lowball yourself, because when you're trying to make your prices lower to compete with somebody else, and you're drawing people just because you're cheaper. So what's going to happen when the next person come out and you're at $20.99 and they at $19.99? You lost your client because they're shopping for cheaper.
Right. They're not
Right.
shopping for your value,
You
the
want people
value
to
that you have
shop
for the services. Absolutely.
Most people choose to do business with people because they like people.
Yeah.
You can have the ugliest outfit on sale, but if I like you and I want to support you, I'm gonna get that ugly outfit.
No,
And I might wear it.
Okay, maybe not an outfit, but I'm gonna share. I'm gonna share your
that's
site because it might not be my cup of tea, but it could be somebody else's style. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, I'm notorious for that because I can only be in one place at one time. So there's a lot of things that come up where people have events I want to support. I can't make it. My dollars can make it. I can make an impact that way. I can buy a ticket for you to raffle off or something like that. But, and I get it. If you don't have the means to do that, that's cool. But just make sure when it comes to your business, you're not discounting out of fear of people not buying. Because a lot of times the people who buy because it's cheap, those are sometimes the toughest customers. They want the most for the least, unfortunately.
They do.
Agreed. I think, I want us, I think, as a community to do more to be a sisterhood, a brotherhood, a familyhood, a neighborhood. Okay. And then we can, when we see something, we say something, right? I think for me, my word for 2026 was accountability. Last year, my word was consistency. And so to me, I'm in a state of I'm in a state of accountability. And so to me, that means that not only am I accountable for the things that I do, that if there's somebody who I know, love, care about, like, or just maybe even somebody else, if I see, somebody's got something stuck on the back of their dress, I'm going to go up and say something. If I see you making a bad financial decision that, I know something different, I'm going to say something. You may not agree with me. You may snap my head off. You may tell me to mind my business. But I think as part of being accountable in your community is saying something so that you can provide guidance. Maybe you do know something, or maybe your information is wrong. But if you don't say something, how is that person ever going to know that they're making a bad step? How do they know that that somebody's out there that's willing to support them, that wants to help them do better, and not look at it as something as negative? So to me, that's my word this year, is accountable. I want people to know that I feel accountable for people in my community. And so when I see something, I'm saying something. I don't know how long it's going to last till somebody snaps my head off, but for right now, that's what I'm doing. Okay.
It's fine. Yeah, absolutely needed. I love that word. My word this year has been execution. So that I can execute more on my own business endeavors and push people to execute more on the things that they come to me and say they're their goals. So I know I'm going to give y'all at least three questions that you can start asking yourself to help you execute better when you're trying to make these financial decisions. So the first question, I talked earlier about alignment and things like that, but when you're asking yourself, is this decision that I'm making, is this solving a problem, or is this soothing a feeling?
Ooh.
That's one of the first questions. The second question is, does this purchase, is this going to create relief today but introduce risk later? It's going to introduce risk later. That's probably not the financial decision you need to be making. And the third one is, what would you advise a client or a friend to do that's in your exact same situation? That goes back to what you talked about earlier, Sandra. Sometimes we just need to pause and think logically before we start making these decisions. Because if you can't answer those, 9 times out of 10, you're not ready to make that financial decision. You need to save that money.
Right. Well, I know my mentor, she tells me, my spiritual mentor, she tells me if I ask the Lord something and I don't get an answer, then I don't have an answer and I can't make a decision. You understand what I'm saying? So, and you was right. I was getting ready to peer right into the slowing down and making decisions too. I was like, yeah, she's right in my head. So the one thing that I was going to touch on was when you do get ready to make a decision, you have to realize, and this is whether you have a actual business or, as Shamika likes to say, you running your household. That's a business too.
Right.
Every decision that you make has someone attached to it. Is either somebody you're close to, it could be your business, and you have to ask yourself, is this decision going to make this work? And what happens if it doesn't go as planned?
Mm-hmm.
And I literally ask myself out loud. I talk to my ChatGPT too, but sometimes just asking the question out loud gives you a different perspective from it being in your head. And like Shamika said, what would you tell somebody else if they came to you with that same question? And if you don't know the answer, you're going to tell your friend where they can go get the answer from. You have to start being your own best friend. There you go. Start being your own damn friend. Because we quick to give advice, but we don't take it.
Ooh, I'm notorious for that sometimes. Ooh, baby, out 2026, we got to cut it out. I take my own advice because it works for other people.
Yes. You can tell
but
somebody they do it and it works for them. And they're like, why you do it?
Right. I should have did that. Right. But you had touched on something earlier, like people spending a lot of money. So like one of the things, like actual actionable thing you can do is put a spending threshold on yourself to say, okay, in any given day or any given period of time, I'm not spending over this amount of money. And or before.
So what's that called, Tamika? What's that called?
Budgeting.
That's called a budget. Look, this is what I'm saying to people. You can dress it up and put lipstick. It's still a pig.
It's real simple, right?
It's still.
Sometimes we just don't do it. Like I just say, we just hard headed.
Okay, we're talking about the same thing. We talking about the same thing. It's still a budget. No matter you can call it a daily limit. You can put money in on TikTok. What are those things came out where people put in envelopes and every day they will put $5 in the envelope, and at the end of the year you're going to have this much money. That's savings. Okay, that's how you save. It doesn't matter that you put it in an envelope and you can see it. It didn't make it better. It just made it visible, it just made it so you could see the money, and I think sometimes we take things and make it so complicated. And I'm just like, it's simple. Just, you didn't have to buy the book. You could save your money on the book. You didn't have to buy the envelopes. You didn't have to go get the cash. You didn't have to wait till tomorrow. You didn't have to do none of that. Okay. You could have taken that one little bank account and that finger, and you would have moved it across the screen to that account and clicked send, and it would have did the same damn thing. And I guess that's probably why people don't like me, because I look at things like, that guy, the black guy during COVID, who was just walking around, just putting his arms up.
COVID, yeah. Why'd you do that?
And that's me. I align with that so much. And I'm walking around going, you did all that just to save $300. You could have saved your money for the booklet and the class and the little folders and the color markers and the labels. You could have put that shit in the bank. Okay, you could have saved that money. So to me, I hear you when you say you can give yourself a threshold and all that stuff. Yeah. It's a damn budget. Give yourself a budget. It is okay to say the word budget. Okay. Yeah. People, it is okay to say the word, I have a limit on what I can do. It is okay to say I cannot afford to do that. I think we have a problem in this world when we have a problem with limiting ourselves. There's this mindset of you only live once, so spend it if you got it. I don't want to put it away for a rainy day because it may not rain. I want to live my life right now. I'm not promised, that whole like fear of missing out and you only live once. I think that's one of the reasons why there's so many people in debt right now. It's because instead of worrying about tomorrow, they're worried about today. And then they wake up the next day and they're broke.
Yeah. Yeah. And that worried about today, that kind of rolls right into my next kind of tip is wait 24 hours before you make a purchase.
Yes.
Just wait 24 hours, because 9 times out of 10 you don't need it. Same way they tell you, like when you be like, oh my gosh, I'm hungry, drink some water, wait 20 minutes and tell me if you're still hungry. 9 times out of 10 you just thirsty, you dehydrated over there.
Right.
So no. No, wait 24 hours, pause before you make that decision, have an accountability partner, call your CPA, call your bookkeeper, call your mentor, call me, call Sandra, call somebody and say, hey, I'm thinking about making this super big purchase. What are your thoughts? Not that you don't need their permission, but bounce it off of somebody else before you make
don't
that.
call me. I'm gonna tell you to go get it.
Okay.
Look, I'm probably gonna tell you, okay. So I'm terrible. My friends will call me while they're shopping and be like, tell me not to buy this. I don't know. Tell me what it is first. You might want it.
If you want it and you can afford it, go get it. I'm not only time, look, I believe in a budget. I set myself up hopefully for success. Hey, Miss Katrina, thank you for joining us tonight.
Hi,
She also is an insurance agent.
okay.
Yes, all the agents coming out. Come on out. Come, bring them out.
Bring them out.
You know. So, but yeah, I mean, just think about it. You know, to me, you shouldn't have to ask my permission, right? If you need to ask my permission, you already know the answer. So don't call me because I'm already telling you no. Why are you calling me for? Oh, because I don't think. Then no. The answer is no, right?
Yeah.
It's automatically no. So, you know, if you want me to help out, pick out the color, yeah, I'm here for that. If you were like, is this going to fit in the room? Let me see, you know, I don't know, stuff like that. But don't tell me, should I purchase it or not? Because I'm going to tell you, no, you didn't need to call me for that. If you needed somebody to give you permission to purchase it, then you already knew the decision was what it was before before you walk through the door. You know, don't walk through a store and expect not to buy something. You went into the store with the mindset to buy something. If you don't want to spend money, stay at the store. Okay.
But that's a good tip though.
Yeah.
You know,
once you have that mental thought process to call somebody else, that's usually your indicator. I probably shouldn't buy. And a lot of times you really need to go with that first thought, like, I don't need this. If it's a I don't need this, then that's what it is you don't need it. Don't try to the next 5 seconds you go trying to talk yourself into why you need it and you probably don't. I used to have when I used to manage people and we had a dress code, they would come sometimes to work with the wrong clothes on, out of dress code. And I always told them, you have all the resources in the world to tell you what's a part of dress code and what's not. And I'm one of those resources. You snap a picture, send it to me, but I can guarantee you, if you have to have that level of thought that maybe I should text this to Shamika to see if I can wear it to work, you probably shouldn't wear it to work. That's the safest bet.
Pretty much. That's how that works.
But some people need it. So if you need that, have your business partner or some other person who's familiar with these type of business purchases be your sounding board, because you may also find out that they purchased it before or they went to we're not going to go into detail, but they may have purchased from the same supplier and they may have some experience issues that they can warn you about to save you a couple $1,000s. You may find that they say, well, I did research on that product or that service or platform also, and I liked it, but I like this one better. And here's why. And that may steer you. So there's value in asking. Again, you're not asking for permission, but sometimes to keep yourself from having so much pressure on yourself and making spontaneous decisions, pause and maybe go ask somebody else who may have some expertise they can share with you.
One of the things I tell my mentees all the time, before you go buy something, come ask me. Because more than likely, I probably got it sitting around some somewhere. Okay. Yep. Because I'm kind of future thinking a lot of times, and I'll go grab something because I know I may not be able to use it right now, but I know I'm going to be able to use it later. And when I get ready to use it, I want it already there and ready to go. So oftentimes I'll say to people, hey, before you go buy that thing, call me or send me a message and see if I have one already, because I might already have what you're looking for. Unfortunately, or whatever that may be. Okay. I'm not going to call myself a hoarder. Okay.
I'm a tech hoarder, so I get it.
You know, software hoarder, tech hoarder, app hoarder. I don't know. Is there such a thing? Can you have too many applications, systems, access? I don't know. Bank accounts. I feel like there's some things in this world I have too many of.
You have as much as you can afford. Like with insurance, I said you get as much insurance you can afford. Ain't no limit. But I think it all circles back to budgets, and if we have a system, you know, like Shamika says, systems are very important. Your budget is very important. If you combine the budget with your system and the ability to say no to yourself and other people, then it will prevent that right there would prevent a lot of chaos, a lot of unexpected things. Now I know we have emergencies, that's different. We should definitely have an emergency fund for that stuff. But I was telling one of my clients, because he was like, he don't like how the insurance drafts his bank account. He's like, because it don't come out that day. It takes a few days. I said, bro, how much are your bills every month? You know, he don't know. People don't know what they just be spending. I said, well, if you find out how much your bills are, put all your bills in one account, including this insurance premium, okay? So that can get paid. Put all your bills in one account and let the bills be drafted from that account. Anything else, that's what you have that you could spend on everything else. But what people don't do, they don't budget in for fun and festivities. They just
So let me ask you though, Sonia. People really don't have a separate bank account for their bills? Please tell me you're joking.
Some people only have, like, I guess, like the common person that's not a business owner, you know, they have one account. All their funds come into an account. They may have a good budget, but everybody don't do well with one account.
Look, I'm gonna say something, and this may seem a little off for everybody else. I'm 56 years old, okay? And my parents are both deceased, rest their soul. My mother's birthday is tomorrow. But I'm gonna tell you something that you just said to me that I have never understood. And maybe that's the reason why I don't understand why people do things the way they do things. And I think you just helped me understand something I didn't understand before. I thought everybody had a separate bank account for their bills. And I thought everybody had a separate bank account that you use for regular spending. And I thought everybody had a regular bank account for savings. No?
No. I've been doing it for years, like, probably 20 some years now. But I got the same reaction from people when they realized, when I used to make the statement, like, let me check my Play Money account. Like, and they were like, what you mean? Like, I don't put all my money in one account, period. My bills are auto drafted from one account and everything else goes to other accounts, because God forbid something happens with one bank. I don't ever want to be to a place where I can't access any of my money. That's not a good feeling.
Right.
So I sometimes try to keep cash on hand and have multiple bank accounts.
Right.
I guess just growing up, like when my mother sat us down to show us how to pay bills, we always knew that there was an account for the bills. Your mortgage, car payments, insurance, light bill came out of one bank account. Nothing else touched that account. The other thing went for groceries and gas, stuff that you did not know the exact amount of. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Stuff that had a random amount. You don't know how much you're going to spend on groceries. You don't know how much gas is going to cost, or if you're going to go out to eat, right? So I grew up with bills in one account, expenses that don't have a detail in a different account, and savings with your third account. I had a savings account. I've had a savings account probably since I was 2 or 3 years old. Okay. And we knew that the money that we got for our allowance, we could spend 80% of it, but 20% had to go into the savings account. And so to me, it's like, that's just the basic. Like, I didn't know that people took their check until I was an adult. I want to say I was in my early or late 20s, that people would take their check and spend the whole check. I didn't even know that was a possibility. Like, my mother made it seem like that was Bible. Okay. Like, you do not get to take your whole check and spend it. You are required to put 20% into this savings account. So you mean to tell me that when I found out as an adult that people weren't required to save money, what? What do you mean? How is that possible?
Listen, you were blessed, Didi. You were blessed. That's all that is. You were blessed to have financial literacy in the home. But I think that's the importance of platforms like ours, because there's so many people who did not grow up with that, or people who didn't gravitate to that until it got late. So again, judgment-free zone, if that's not how you grew up, but there's benefits to doing that. There's a reason why people do that. So if that's something you need help with, you need to reach out to one of us and we can definitely help you. But it's really just as simple as what we're saying. Have a separate account for these things. Go through your bills and understand this is what comes out every month. These are my static charges. I know it's going to be the same every single month. Here's the ones that are going to fluctuate, but you can still use an average. I have a habit of I pay a little bit over the average for certain bills every month, to the point of where I will have a credit. Like when the seasons change, for example, I'll have credit sitting on some of those bills. So I don't have that pressure of, oh my gosh, my light bill is going up Christmas time because everybody in the neighborhood wants to run lights and I'm penalized for it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not tripping over that because I've built myself a buffer. And then I've got other money that rolls into not just one extra account, but multiple other accounts, so that I know, okay, I'm never going to be without a certain amount of money to make me feel comfortable. My bank account gets to a certain level, I get below a certain level, I get nervous because I always feel like something could happen, and I don't want to ever be like that. I don't want to have to call anybody, ask to borrow money if I can avoid it. You know, thankful for my family and support system that if I had to, I could, but I don't want to have to. And that's one of the ways in which I've been able to do that. Again, some decisions can appear to make sense emotionally. You know, I don't need all that extra hassle or whatnot, but they can be very expensive decisions operationally when we're talking about your business and running your household. So just think about
because I've been in situations where I've had financial issues. I've been in situations where I made bad financial decisions because I was being hard-headed. I was, you know, I wanted to be like everybody else. What do you mean I got to do the certain things? And honestly, when I went through my health scare, you know, I had to fly to Philadelphia every week for almost 49 weeks. I don't think people realize some people take a trip once a year and they got to, you know, how much that costs. Imagine you have to do that every week. You know, so I have definitely been there when, you know, finances were financing. We raised money. We sold t-shirts. We sold clothes out of my house. I had a tag sale, got rid of extra things that I had around the house that I didn't need. People made gifts for me to sell. People donated money, gas cards. They donated food to me. So I have been in financial situations. Please do not start tripping out there in the world thinking I don't know what it feels like to go without. I have been without plenty of times in my life, and it had to do with my own decisions. Some were my fault and some were not my fault. But however the case may be, but I still go back to the basics. I still am, you know, at this age, when I hear people say, you know, they don't have a savings account, I just like, how do you wake up in the morning and go through life without, you know, having $5 in a savings? You know,
some people don't have the money to put aside because a lot of people are still living paycheck to paycheck. So that's another problem. As far as you have to have the income to budget. And a lot of people, they limit themselves because unfortunately jobs are going to tell you how much you can make. Yes, and I know everybody don't feel like they're meant to be a business owner or whatnot, but at the end of the day, your job caps you. Your job is in control of you because if they fire you, guess what? You have no more money.
That's it.
So I always encourage people to find something that they can do on their own to make some money. You don't have to build LLC. I know how to do hair. So if I'm not booked for appointments this week, I'm gonna do somebody hair because I'm gonna make money every day.
There you go.
Okay, it's $5. If I gotta sell an old purse out my closet, I did a yard sale out my closet a couple months ago. I sold everything for $1. I made almost $200 that day. Sold everything for $1. I ain't feel like packing it up, going to Salvation Army to donate it. You can get it for $1. If y'all need some stuff, I got clothes, I got pocketbooks, I got shoes size 10. Y'all can have it for $1. Just inbox me.
Okay.
Girl, I don't even have to do that one because I got stuff I got to get rid of.
Look, my nephew coming over here tomorrow to clean out my garage because I'm not even giving it for $1. That it's gonna be on the curb with a sign that says free. Come get it. I'm gonna take a picture and be like, come and pick it up. I don't even want money for it. I just want it gone. Okay, at this point in time, you know, but I do donate a lot of stuff to the Goodwill, to be honest with you. But and it's not that I'm being insensitive to people. To me, I remember eating hot dogs and beans. I remember eating soups and spaghetti. I remember my parents were saving for their first house, and I had to be about 6 or 7 years old, and I remember eating the same foods over and over and over again. I remember, oh my God, I'm gonna hate these foods. But I knew, they let us know, like, look, we're getting out of this apartment. I want a house. I do not want to live in nobody else's space anymore. My mother wanted to paint the walls black, and she had these fluorescent handprints of all of our family members all over the wall. And then the people that owned the apartment wanted to charge her to repaint the walls. And she was she was like, no, I want to paint and do whatever I want in my house. And as long as I live, I'll never forget that. And that to me is something that home ownership does. It gives you your ability to do what you want. So I want us all to have that same feeling. People think that just because you have something that you didn't go through something to get something, right? They think because they see the end result that, oh, well, you got it easy. You don't know how many hours I work to get to do what I do, right? What did Kobe say? Were you in the gym doing the free throws? Don't come for me. Like, you're not up here at 5 o'clock in the morning, 6 o'clock in the morning, 7 o'clock in the morning when I'm up here working by myself. Mm-hmm. Were you there? Are you working 7 days a week? Are you working 5 days a week? Are you the one not going on trips and missing stuff? So please don't, sit up here and be like, well, you have this and you have that. No, the hell I don't. I don't have nothing. Okay. I get up and work for mine. Okay.
Right.
I think that's a part of some of the things I always said. When the company I was working for last kicked me to the curb and said, you know what, we don't value you anymore. You can go. When the tax office I started working for afterwards told me that they did not appreciate my education. They wanted to train people the way they wanted to train people and said, we no longer need your services. There's enough people that told me they don't need what I have to do. I went and did it myself. Okay. So please recognize that you have the ability, you have talents. You just may not know that you have talents. Everything that you do for somebody else, you can do for yourself. You drive that car and you pick up those packages for Amazon. You could go pick up those packages for yourself. You could create your own distribution center. Okay. You could pick up your own delivery service. You could create your own medical transportation. You could create your own tax office. People forget that everything that's out here that's a corporation started, somebody had to sit somewhere and come up with an idea. Okay. That doesn't mean that you can't do it just because it's already been done. There is 20,000 different types of bread on the shelf. Okay. You can still make another loaf of bread. Your bread is going to be your bread. It's going to be different.
Put your face on it. There's going to be no other bread with your face on it.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why I used to tell people all the time, don't not do the thing because somebody else is doing it. That doesn't mean anything. If God gave you the idea to do it, do it. He's going to give you the people, the places, and the resources to get that thing done. But we gotta take action. And when it comes to, and just because you have that idea, don't go out here and jump and get your LLC. You don't do that. Please don't do that.
Please don't. Please
don't go out here and buy all the most expensive courses, because 9 times out of 10 you're going to struggle to stay motivated in that space. Start with a simple business plan that you can execute. When it comes time to start spending money, you got to know your triggers, and your same triggers that you have in your everyday spending are going to be some of the same triggers you have in your business spending. This is why I tell people, like Sandra mentioned earlier, one of the quotes that I came up with years ago, you are a business owner, even if all you own and manage is yourself. Your triggers could be, for your business, low sales, like I mentioned earlier, or surprise bills, just a slow day, or a client who's running, dragging their feet to pay an invoice. And sometimes it's not intention on the client's part. Life is life for everybody, but you got to know those triggers. And just like you're in a 12-step program, this is not the time to have a cigarette. This is the time to understand what's happening with you. You know what I'm saying? Why do I want this cigarette? Because the cigarette is not going to solve the problem. You know what I'm saying? 9 times out of 10. And then creating those rules. Pick one rule for the next 30 days, whether that's those purchase limits, let's start with doing a budget if you haven't created one. Setting more realistic budgets if you need to, or purchase limits. But maybe it's a month where you don't offer any discounts. No discounts, unless you have a particular reason for that discount, and then you can limit a discount. Like I use Shopify for my online store. I periodically will offer additional discounts, but I will limit those discounts to a certain amount of people or a certain amount of uses for people sometimes, because you don't want to give away everything, but depending on your business, that may or may not work. But maybe it's for the next 30 days, I'm not borrowing any money until I talk to a financial advisor about, why I'm wanting to purchase, why I'm wanting to borrow this money, and for what purchase am I trying to use that money for. And again, those weekly or however frequently you need them, but at least a weekly 15-minute check-in where you sit down and you look at your finances and you get some clarity on your money. And I know it's easier said than done, but it is 100% necessary for us to sit down and say, okay, how much cash do I have on hand? What bills do I have coming up in the next 14 to 30 days? What do I need to be doing, to Sandra's point, to make money every day? What offer do I need to be putting out there? And that don't mean you got to beat yourself up with content all the time. We watch commercials. I tell one of my clients this all the time. We watch, I don't want to say TV because we watch social media and streaming services, but we watch stuff all day long where ads are popping up. Do you think they're recreating those ads every other day? No, they are running the same ad. You're seeing that ad play in 12 different shows over and over again. Repost the reel.
Yes.
Over and over.
Repost the reel. Make another one for another day, another month, another promotion, but you can repost those reels just like commercials. And then when you get to a point where you're ready to start monetizing, where you start ready to start paying for ads, guess what? You've already got those ads made. Now you just pay Facebook, or pay Meta to push it out for you. That's it. You need help with running ads? Come holler at me. Let me know. I will happily help you.
Yes.
That part.
So I know we've covered a lot, and I know we started a little bit late today, and we appreciate all of y'all for rocking with us, those who jumped in. I see we got Miss Veronica came in from Detroit today. Shout out to Detroit. We've said it in the past. This is North Carolina based, but it's not North Carolina only. We welcome anybody from anywhere, because business is business, and we may be small business by definition, but this is big business mentality over here. So
that's right. Yes, I like that small business with big mentality. Okay. But yeah, this was good. Like I said, we'll be back next month, and we're just going to be digging deeper on conversations and issues that need to be heard over and over again, because repetition is what makes it stick. So hopefully y'all heard something tonight that you can implement. Pick one, play it again next month, and implement another one, but start implementing, because talking about it, taking notes, getting on podcasts, and not doing nothing with the information is a waste of time, and it's hustling backwards. Okay.
Good. Let's go.
Hit that subscribe button. Remember, like Shamika said, before y'all make that next financial decision, pause and ask yourself, is this a decision out of pressure, or is this a decision of clarity? Because that can make or break your business. Yeah,
absolutely.
Right. Yes. And I just want to say it is a new year. Some people like to shed the skin from the previous year. If you're one of those people that wants to become brand new every 12 months, then this is your opportunity to change your relationship with money. If somebody was popping you in the mouth every day, you got tired of it, you would stop. And some of y'all are popping your own selves in the mouth. So
they like it.
And stop. So, stop. You're hurting yourself, if you're not having a good relationship with money. So, if you're making bad decisions, try to make better ones. If you don't, do what some of the things that Shamika just talked about. Just do some of those simple steps. Start a budget. Give yourself a limit on what you can do. If you need to have to call somebody to make a better decision, then make that phone call. If that's what you need to do to create new habits, create the new habits. I know I sound very kind of judgmental about some things, but it's mostly because I look at things from a very analytical standpoint and very common sense. So to me, it's just very.
It is what it is.
You know,
this is why we need community, so that we can take our different perspectives, our different lessons, combine them, and you take what works. You take what works. People always gravitate to me as a leader, every company I've ever been to, and it's because I've taken the things I didn't like from the leaders that I've had, and I've understood why they were the way they were, and I've made the adjustments as necessary so it works for me and my personal brand as a leader. And then I've taken the things I've liked from leaders that I've had, and I've also implemented them and made them better. Same thing I have to do every day in business. And while this all sounds great, we get it. It's not easy. I'm the first one to tell you, you cannot just implement all these changes all at once, because you didn't get yourself into this all at once. Pick one thing, make it a steady habit, move to the next thing.
Oh.
Okay. I got you, Mika. I got you.
Y'all make sure y'all
I'm
get that.
working. I'm a work in progress. What you say, Sasha?
But together we're gonna make great progress.
Absolutely.
Right. Well, we will see you guys next time. If you have not hit subscribe, go ahead and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss next time we're here. And we'll see y'all next month.
Tap the screen. Look, tap the screen. Let me stop.
We're gonna close out with our song. We're gonna see y'all out with our song.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, we set the tone. Real conversations, it's more than a show. Strategy, power, how wealth really grow. If you're building something big, you already know. Welcome to the Legacy Lounge.
Hey.
Decisions get made. We don't take it down for generations. Legacy.
Hey, look, I'm gonna need Sonya make me a song. Hold up.
I got you. Y'all need a track.
Right.
That's another
a jingle.
Another thing I can do for you. I can make a jingle too.
Right.
Y'all have a good night. I'll see y'all ladies later. Thank y'all again for here.
All
Good
right.
night.
Thanks for tuning in, y'all.
All right. Take care.